Hello everyone. My name is Elise, so welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing so good today. We are doing a book haul, and this book haul is big. I've switched to doing like a few book hauls a year and then they're bigger, but this one is everything I've bought so far in 2026. And there's a decent amount of books. I wasn't expecting to have this many, but I in fact do. Most of them that were purchased by me were purchased on Independent Bookstore Day, which I love, making that a whole production and supporting a bunch of local indie bookstores to me. So we're going to talk about those all together at the beginning, but I also have a ton of gifted books in this haul, which is amazing. I'm so lucky that I have so many people in my life that are willing to gift me a book. So we're going to do those at the end like we normally do. So I have 4 categories that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start with the Independent Bookstore Day books specifically, and then we're going to talk about other books that I have personally purchased outside of that. Then we're going to talk about the books that I've received for my Deep Vellum subscription. And then lastly, we'll go over all of the gifted books. So I will add up all the books at the end and tell you how many there are. But let's go ahead and dive into these because there's a lot. So let's start with the Independent Bookstore Day books. If I remember where I got them from, I'll say, but I have a feeling I'm not going to remember that for all of them. So first one, we have a Europa book. This is A Mask the Color of the Sky by Bassem Khandaqji, and it is translated, I believe, but it's not on the cover, so let me check. Translated from the Arabic by Addie. And this is, I think, the only book from Independent Bookstore I bought that I specifically have plans for. So this is going to be coming out in a video sometime later in the year. I'm really excited about this. It's an anticipated release for me in 2026. And from what I remember about this one is we're following a Palestinian man, a young Palestinian man who gets mistaken as Jewish, I believe, and kind of like just goes along with that and sees how people in Israel get to live, and he's trying to kind of like reconcile what that means for him as a Palestinian, and it sounds really good. So I wasn't expecting it to be this short, but I'm really excited for it. So that is A Mask the Color of the Sky. Next up, we have a James Baldwin book. This is Giovanni's Room. These are the vintage editions, and I am trying to collect all of James Baldwin's work in these editions. And I felt a little bit of time crunch lately because they've started, I think a couple of years ago, coming out with those new covers that have like the modernist art on it, which are also beautiful, but I already own a decent amount of his books in these editions, so I want to complete my set. So now I'm like, okay, there's new ones coming out. These are going to start not like going away and not being available, so slowly collecting all of them. This is one that is maybe his most famous work, arguably, but I have not read this, so happy to have it in this edition so it can match with my others. And this one is about a young queer man who is living in Paris, and it's supposed to be amazingly beautifully written, so I'm really excited to have this one and hopefully getting to this one this year or next year. I'm sort of planning to do a Baldwin project sometime this year or next year, so hopefully sometime soon. So that is that one. I don't remember where I picked up either of those, honestly. I think maybe this might have been Queen Anne Books, and I can't remember the other one. No idea. Next up, we have a Dead Ink book. This is Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. Such a gorgeous cover. I love the Dead Ink books that have the like white at the top and then an image at the bottom. They don't do that for all of them, but there's a good amount that they do that cover design for. This one I've just heard a lot about through the BookTube grapevine and have really been interested, and I don't think I've bought a Dead Ink book before. I've only read them from the library, the ones that I've read. I think that's right. So this is the first one I purchased. It's also really chunky, and I've just been in the mood for chunky books lately. So I'm happy to have it. I'm looking at the page count. It's 446 pages. And I actually don't know anything about this. This is truly, I have been influenced. It's blurbed on the front by Eric LaRocca, who is a horror author. Let's see what this is about together. It says, Heather, Rachel, and Antonia are going to Almanack. Heather needs to find her boyfriend who, like so many, went and never came back. Rachel has a mysterious package to deliver and her life depends on it. And Antonia, poor love-struck Antonia, just wants the chance to spend the day with Heather. Already sounds so good. So really excited to have this one. And that one I picked up from Finney Books. If you're in Seattle, this will matter to you. If you're not, it probably won't. But Finney Books has an amazing selection of small press literature, some that I can't find at even like the other ones I go to more often and also love. So their selection is really good of imported books, of which Dead Ink is an imported publisher for them. So next we have Father of the Rain by Lily King. This is published by Grove Atlantic. And if you've been watching me this year, you know that one of my goals is to read multiple books by Lily King. She's one of my authors that I've selected to read multiple books from this year. And I have actually already read 2 books from her this year, but I've loved both of them and knew I wanted to pick up some more of her backlist. So this one I got from Third Place Books, and this is one of her backlisted ones. Let me see when this actually came out, because I don't know quite how backlist it actually is. 2010 is when this came out, and this one I had heard great things from, oh gosh, what is her name? Mercedes. I can't remember her channel name, but I'll also put it down below. She has not been posting lately, but she's like an OG booktuber and we have really similar tastes, and she loves this Lily King book. So that already in its favor. I don't know what this is about either. I just knew I wanted more Lily King, and I've heard good things from Mercedes. Mercy's Bookish Musings, is that her channel? Maybe. It says, Lily King traces a daughter's relationship with her volatile, charismatic father over 3 decades. From her parents' separation in her childhood, Dally Amory has had to choose herself over her father in order to survive. That is, until he hits rock bottom and Dally must decide whether trying to save him is worth the risk of losing her professional dreams and the love of her life. Okay, intrigued. So that is another Lily King. This one, I think I also got at Finney Books. I've been wanting this for a while. It's been on my to-buy list. This is Fire Exit by Morgan Tolte. It's published by Tin House, which is an imprint of Xander now. And I really enjoyed Night of the Living Rez, his like debut short story collection that was very critically acclaimed. And I have been waiting for this to come out in paperback because I want it to match my paperback version of Night of the Living Rez. And it didn't come out for paperback for almost 2 years because I think the hardcover sold well. But this one is about blood quantum, which is just fascinating. And it's about this man who does not live on the res, is not Native American, but has a daughter who does. And sort of to have the daughter meet blood quantum so they can live on the res with her mother, they lie about who her father is and say that it's someone else who is Native. And I think we kind of go from there. I think it's a fascinating premise. I loved the way that Morgan Tolte spoke about res life in his last book, and I'm really excited to experience more of that. I've also met him and he is extremely nice and extremely shy, which I feel like kind of fits with his vibe if you've read his book. But yeah, really excited for Fire Exit and so happy to have this finally in paperback. All right, then we have 2 cookbooks. I got both of these at Book Larder, which is a cookbook store in Seattle. So these are the 2 books. Dinner, I knew that I liked already. I had been borrowing my friend's copy and I've made, I think, almost 10 recipes from it and was like, okay, it's just time for me to buy it. I've cooked so much out of this. So I actually kept his copy and just got a new one to give back to him because I had splattered some of the pages. But I really have liked the recipes I've cooked out of this. This is my second Meera Sodha book. Sorry, this is Dinner. Did I say that? Dinner by Meera Sodha, who publishes this, Flatiron Books. And I have East by her, which I really enjoy. But this, I would say, is her most accessible cookbook, as in like it takes the least amount of ingredients to make some of these. And sometimes when you're just strapped for time and can't make an elaborate dinner, this is really what I want to go to. And I think everything I've made in here I would make again except for one thing, and that's just because it took so long to make that it's not worth it to me. But the rest, spectacular, truly great. Let me show you just an image from it. So here is an image. This is coconut braised wintergreens. So there you have it. Love this. Other cookbook is Vegan Pantry. This is by Katy Beskow. Oh, actually, I'm remembering. This one I got from Booklarder, and this one was sold out there. I actually ended up getting this at Third Place Books. So Vegan Pantry by Katy Beskow. This one is published by, oh, I don't recognize that symbol. Let me open it up and take a look. Quadrille. I'm not familiar with them. This one, the premise was really interesting, where it's like there's 10 pantry staples, vegan pantry staples, and it's sorted into those staples and a bunch of dishes you can make with them. So for example, the first one is oats, and then it'll have the recipe. So this one is gochujang sticky no meatballs. This recipe I've actually made already. So yeah, I've only cooked the one recipe from it, so I'm excited to cook more, but happy to have it. And then we're getting towards the end. I think we have 3 left from this category. Next, we went to a romance bookstore called Beguiled. I was with my friend Kat. She reads a lot of romance, so she wanted to stop by there, and I've been wanting to go as well. I needed to pick up a book and was sort of debating between going with a blind date with a book and just letting that pick for me, or going with something that I felt like maybe I had more of a chance of liking. So I went with something I thought I had more of a chance of, which is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is published by Berkeley, and this not only will be my first Ali Hazelwood, who is such a popular romance author, but it will also be my first ever paranormal romance, which I'm both excited and trepidatious for. But I think I could like it, especially because I read a lot of romantasy last year. That it wasn't paranormal romance. I don't want to pretend that it is, but I feel like it opened me up to the idea of that a bit more. And of paranormal romance, I think this maybe has the best shot for me. I know that this is a Omegaverse novel, which my basic understanding, which I will admit is basic, is that Omegaverse tends to have to do mostly with werewolves, but can include other supernatural creatures as well. But it's really just about like a hierarchical paranormal creature. So werewolves have like alphas, betas, omegas, that type of thing. So I think this has to do with werewolves and vampires. They're both in this. So we shall see. That's Bride. If I like it, there's a sequel to it. And then lastly, we went to a poetry bookstore called Open Letter, and I picked up 2 things from there. First one I got was Bluff by Danez Smith. This is published by Grey Wolf. I've read all of their other work. They have 3 other poetry collections, but I still haven't gotten to this one yet, even though it came out last year or the year before. So finally picked it up, really excited to have it. They tend to write about like queerness, sexuality, that type of stuff. So really excited to have it. And then the other thing I picked up there is actually not poetry. And this is a book I'd been looking for all day and was so surprised I found it at, of all places, the poetry bookstore. But that is Little Lazarus by Michael Bible. This is by Clash Books. And I read this for the Republic of Consciousness Prize. I did a vlog reading all the ones I was interested in this year. And I really loved this. It had such a profound, like, moving impact on me, and knew I wanted to pick it up and found it at the poetry bookstore. So I got it. This one is about, oh God, it's about so many things, even though it's so small, but part of it is from the perspective of these 2 tortoises, Lazarus and Little Lazarus. And it's about the interconnectedness of our world. It's a climate fiction novel. It's really got a lot going on, but really good and would highly recommend. So that is Little Lazarus. Okay, we made it through all of the books that I bought for Independent Bookstore Day. That's just the first section, y'all. We have so much to go. Oh my Lord. Okay, so now we're gonna get into books that I personally bought that were not for Independent Bookstore Day. So everything else I bought for myself in 2026 so far. Let me grab them. They're over here. And a lot of these will be familiar to you because luckily I've read a good number of these. First one, we have The Remembered Soldier by Anjet Daanje, translated by David McKay. This is published by New Vessel Press. Got this for the Republic of Consciousness vlog. Loved it. Favorite book of the year so far. Easily favorite book of the year so far. Favorite book that I've read, including last year as well. It's that good. This is, if you don't know, about a soldier in the Great War who has amnesia due to trauma. He is struggling with PTSD and he's living in an asylum when the book starts, and a woman comes and claims him as her husband. So he goes home with her and they try and like reintegrate into life together. Oh God, this is beautiful writing, so layered with its thematic integration, has amazing questions about love and memory and marriage in it. What makes up a life? What makes up a person? It's just so deeply moving and so well crafted. I can't get over it. It's huge. Definitely a picante beef baby, but so worth the time. So that is The Remembered Soldier. So happy I own it. Similarly, I have Small Scale Sinners by Maureen Sohail. This is published by A Public Space Books. Gorgeous cover. I think my favorite cover of all the books I've bought so far this year. And this one is a very short story collection that's also for the Republic of Consciousness Prize. I loved this one as well. It says in the blurb that it's asking this question of like, what does it mean to be good? It does explore that. I think this book so astutely observes familial relationships, and that's what I really loved it for. So yeah, spectacular, would highly recommend. Other one that I've read so far is She Who Remains by Rene Karabash. This one is translated by whom? Translated by Izidora Angel, published by Sandorf Passage. This is from the International Booker Prize, which I also did a reading vlog for, and I really enjoyed this as well. It is about a woman living in Albania who becomes a sworn virgin and then essentially becomes a man. Not only was this very informative about Balkan culture in general, but it also has such an interesting sibling dynamic within it. Also dealing with trauma and memory and how we can have different perceptions of the same experience over vast periods of time. And really lovely, really lyrical, and thoroughly enjoyed reading it. So that is She Who Remains. And then from the ones that I bought myself, I have two that I have not yet read. The first one is Killing Stella by Maurlen Haushofer. This is translated by Shaun Whiteside and published by New Directions. I read and loved The Wall a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, by her, same translator as well. And I knew I really wanted to pick this up, but I've just been belaboring it because I knew I wasn't going to have time to read it in the previous year. But I think I will have time this year. It's also so short. And I've heard good reviews. It is about a family who brings in this other young girl that's friends with their daughter, and whose name is Stella. And I think she dies. Stella dies at some point, and it's like the mom reflecting on everything that's happened. Something like that. I might have butchered that, but that's what I'm going with for now. So that is Killing Stella. Really excited to get to this one. And she has another one that's coming out very soon. And then I also have bought The Age of Magic. I just bought this one. This is by Ben Okri. It's published from Other Press, who does a lot of his work. Ben Okri is another one of the authors that I'm trying to read multiple books from this year, and I only currently own one other book by him, so I knew I was going to need to pick something else up from him. And this is one of the ones that I was most interested in. This and The Famished Road, which is what he won the Booker Prize for, were the two I was oscillating between. But I saw this on sale for $10 because it's used and has like a little bit of a stain right there. So I picked it up. And I got this at Powell's Books while I was in Portland. He writes very like fantastical stuff that's very much like a philosophical about what it means to be like a human, what it means to live a fulfilled, enchanted life. So The Age of Magic, I'm not surprised that that's the title that he chose. This says, oh, that's right. I read the first few pages of this. We're following 8 filmmakers. So it's like a whole crew that is doing a documentary. And I think we're following them throughout the production of the film, and each of them have their own like big growth experience while they're filming it. So yeah, really excited for this one. Excited to have another Ben Okri, and I will be reading it this year, definitely. So that is that. Okay, we made it through all the books I've purchased for myself so far in 2026. Now let's get into the Deep Vellum books. There are 3. So do I remember the order I got them in? Not necessarily. I think the first one I got was Ladies' Almanack. This is written and illustrated by Djuna Barnes. And on the front, you can see it just says A Lady of Fashion. It was published anonymously at the time. This is published by Dalkey Archive, which is one of the imprints at Deep Vellum. And this is actually super cool. I think of everything they've sent me so far, this is one I'm most excited about. And it is an actual journal that came out 100 years ago. That is this like lesbian manifesto. So let me show you. You just open it up. They have this at the beginning. And it's just like, what a lovely piece of history to have. I'm so excited to read it. And they did a good job of kind of keeping the original character with like the font and everything that's going on. So really excited to have this. So that is Ladies' Almanack. Next one I got from them, at least I think it was the next one, is Woodwind Harmony in the Nighttime. This is by Reza Ghassemi, and it's translated by Michelle Quay. This is from just their main imprint, Deep Vellum. I need to remember what this is about because I have no clue. It says Iranian exile Yadala is barely scraping by in the 1990s in Paris. He lives in a rundown attic apartment with his friend Saeed and his girlfriend Rana. It's an all too common situation. Their apartment building houses a cast of eccentric neighbors, most of them fellow down on their luck exiles from all over the world. When a mysterious new neighbor arrives on the scene, a man who ominously goes by the name of the Prophet, Yadala and his friends' worlds is turned upside down. Yadala suddenly finds himself confronted by the Islamic angels of death and realizes he must untangle the mystery of a murder that occurred at some unknown point after Prophet's arrival. His own murder. What? Okay, I'm gagged. I did not remember that's what it was about at all when I first got it. Sounds so fascinating, sounds so plotty, so intriguing. So excited for that one. Woodwind Harmony in the Nighttime. There we go. And then the third book I've gotten from them so far this year is this one. It's a cute little hardcover release, 14 Ways of Looking by Erin Vincent. I don't think this is translated, but let me just do a double check. No. And this one is published by their imprint A Strange Object, which they don't publish a ton from, but they are in fact strange. Like I would say like they're definitely the more avant-garde stuff that they publish. So this is a little slip of a thing, got amazing blurbs on the back by Sarah Manguso, Pip Adam, and others. Let's see what this is about. Studded with moments of surprise, wit, and intellectual delight, this light-footed, piercing memoir of grief tracks reverberations of loss and acceptance across a lifetime. When Erin Vincent was 14 years old, both of her parents were killed in a traffic accident. Almost 40 years later, the number 14 began haunting her, appearing everywhere in the books she was reading, in films, TV shows, and in the news. 14, 14, the repetition felt significant. As Vincent began to explore the number beyond her personal understanding, seeking out instances of 14 throughout history, much of what she found related to her life at 14. The catalog of these coincidences and their significance became 14 Ways of Looking, a memoir of fractals and a profound meditation on grief, memory, and the creative process. Also sounds amazing. And that's why I've had this subscription for a while now, and they just keep sending banger after banger. So I'm not thinking of ending it anytime soon, even though, do I need an extra book almost every month that needs to go on my TBR? No, but I'm loving what they're sending. So excited to have this. And I will say, just as a little sneak peek, not these three specifically, but I am going to be doing a vlog sometime soon of reading some of the Deep Vellum subscription books that I've received. So I will be picking up a handful of them for that video. So those are the Deep Vellum books. Let's get into the last category. That is the gifted books. And then we'll have made it. Okay, so this is we got a big stack of gifted books. I just have them in size order. Hopefully the order that they come out makes somewhat sense. We're gonna figure it out. So first one, this is a free book that I got for Independent Bookstore Day from Queen Anne Books, and that is The Queen of Swords by Yasmina Barrera. This one is translated by Christina McSweeney and published by Two Lines Press. This is the ARC version, hence why I got it for free. This one I'm so excited to have. It is, I think this one's nonfiction, no? Yes, because I think this one is about the Mexican writer Elena Garro, who is the founder of magical realism. Then for Mother's Day, my dog, aka my husband, got me a gift, which is another James Baldwin book in these editions. This one is Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, and again, published by Vintage. Know nothing about this. It's a big one though, but really excited to have it. It says, in this magnificently passionate, angry, and tender novel, James Baldwin created one of his most striking characters, a man struggling to become himself even as he juggles multiple identities. As Black man, bisexual, and artist, on the mercilessly floodlit stage of American public life, at the height of his theatrical career, the actor Leo Proudhammer is nearly felled by a heart attack. As he hovers between life and death, Baldwin shows the choices that have made him enviably famous and terrifyingly vulnerable. So really excited to have that one. Again, have not heard of this one, but excited to read it and have another one in my collection. So there's that. Then we have from my friend Kat. I think she read this one and then thought I might like it, so passed it along to me. This is Shelter by Douglas Lloyd Jenkins, published by, I'm not familiar with this publisher, Bateman Books, which doesn't look like that's an imprint of anything. Who knows? Unfamiliar with them. And this one I think is like a kind of love story, and she thought I might like it. I really like the cover, and it's like a big floppy paperback, and the paper is really thick and lovely. So excited to have this one. Know nothing about it other than it's a love story. That's all I'm gonna know going into it. So that is Shelter. Then I was cat sitting for some friends, and they were traveling and very graciously got me a book on their travels as a thank you gift. And this one, I'm going to describe it to you before I show it to you. They got this as a blind date with a book. So I want you to experience the cover reveal that I experienced. So I think at the beginning it said that it had to do with like feminism, and then like something like it was like high octane or something like that. And then I peel back the cover and I'm shocked because this is what I see. Fucking scary. Am I right? Like, that is terrifying. I've also never heard of this. It's a backlisted book. So this is Vita by Marge Piercy, published by PM Press. Oh, originally published in 1979 and then republished in 2012. And I think this is like about a woman who runs an underground political network that does like coups for the government or something like that. So that is Vida. I'm very intrigued to see what this is about. So there's that one. And then I think all the rest of the gifted books are from my mother-in-law, of course, my very generous mother-in-law who gives me so many books that she's read and enjoyed. So this time we have 4. There were 2 that in advance I was like, yes, send me those. I think I will like them, or at least there's a good chance of me liking them. And then 2 that she was like, I think you should really take these 2 as well. So I was like, okay, I trust you. I'll at least try them out. The first 2 were This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. This one is by Pine and Cedar, which is an imprint of Flatiron Books. And you can tell she got it from Book of the Month. This is a thriller that has been going around this year that I think has like a podcast element. Don't they all nowadays? Yes, Benny and Joy, they host a beloved podcast. And one day Joy disappears and Benny is suspected of her murder. So that is This Story Might Save Your Life. The other one I asked for was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This would be my first ever V.E. Schwab. This is published by Tor. And this one is the like sapphic vampire one, which sounds so fascinating. It's also huge, but really happy to have this. The blurb on the back says 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high and one grows deep and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. Excited. I think this will be a good introduction for me personally with V.E. Schwab, so happy to have this one. And then the other 2 she sort of nudged along on me, which I'm grateful for, are, let's see, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This one's published by Celadon Books. Of course, I've heard so many good things about this, but I haven't heard great things about Alex Michaelides' other books that have come out since. But this was sort of like his big like hit on the scene when he first started getting traditionally published. So this one I think is about a woman who like goes silent after her husband is murdered, or like she murders him, something like that. And then there's this psychologist that thinks he can get her to talk. So that is the premise for The Silent Patient. And then she also gave me, what is this? The Last Letter by Rebecca Yaros. Who publishes this? Entangled. And I have, of course, read Fourth Wing and the subsequent Fourth Wing books that have come out and really enjoyed them. But I've never read any of her just like pure genre romance, although I know she has plenty of them. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I'm at least willing to try it out. I just saw military tags though, and I'm not a military romance person, so we'll see what this ends up being. But yeah, I'll try it. So those are all of the books. Let me count them because I promised you that I would do that. 26 books. I'm fairly certain there are 26. Let me know if you have read any of these, and if so, which ones I should prioritize reading first if I haven't already read them. And please let me know if you are interested in reading any of these books. And I will see you all in the next video very soon. Bye.